Will the circle be unbroken by and by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 384, and we are putting a bow on the Bioshock series, at least until Bioshock 4 releases someday in the far, far, vast, distant future, but I can't fucking wait. With Bioshock Infinite, the third in the original Bioshock trilogy. We reviewed the first Bioshock back on Remember the Game 160, and then we did the second Bioshock about a half a year ago on episode 360. If you're interested in checking those out first, I recommend it, but live your life, do whatever the fuck you want. I love the Bioshock series. I adore these games, but I'd only ever played through each of them once in their entirety before I replayed each of them for these episodes of the show. I think now that I've replayed all three of them in the last few years, all three of the games hold up. I think they're all great, both as competent shooters and just crazy stories, great narratives. I love the graphics. I love the atmosphere of them. The first two games, if you haven't played them, are set in Rapture, which is a city built entirely underwater. And then the third game, Bioshock Infinite, takes to the skies in the city of Columbia up in the clouds. And like it's part first person. I mean, it's all first person, but part of it's shooting with guns. Part of it's using... I mean, they're not spells, but depends on which game you're playing. Like different abilities. You can shoot lightning and all kinds of funky things out of your left hand while you're shooting with your right hand. It's good times. I remember playing Bioshock Infinite back when it came out. I remember playing it at launch because I loved the first two games. I was really excited. And like my lasting impression of Bioshock Infinite was like, it was good, but not as good as the other two. Mostly because I just don't find the sky setting as cool as I do the underwater one for Rapture. Replaying it now for the first time in, 13 years, I definitely enjoyed it. It was better than I remembered, honestly. I still have some nitpicks with it, but we'll get into all those. All in all, pretty solid end to a pretty great trilogy. I really like the Bioshock games. I fucking hurry up and get 4 out. Damn it. Anyway, my guest this week is the big daddy of Remember the Game, my buddy Tyler. He joined me for the first 2 Bioshock episodes, so of course he had to come back and wrap up the series. I actually don't know how our conversation went or what we talked about, because this is one of those weird weeks where I'm actually recording the intro before I record the game review. Most weeks I have the game review in the can and then I do the intro afterwards, but I have no idea what the fuck Tyler and I talked about this week. I'm sure it went well. Of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Of course it went well. I'm sure it did. And I'm sure we spoiled. It goes without saying, but like this game is 13 years old. It's a very narrative heavy game. We've already spoiled the first 2, so everything is on the table here. We're not only spoilers for Bioshock Infinite, but I wouldn't be surprised if we talk a little bit at least about Bioshock 1 and Bioshock 2 as well. So just be warned. I recommend playing these games, but we're spoiling the fuck out of them. And I listened to the multiple suggestions I got from listeners and fired up the DLC. I don't often do that, but everyone was telling me, dude, if you love the Bioshock games, you gotta play the Burial at Sea DLC, both parts. So I did it this time, and I'm probably gonna spoil that too. That's just what I do. I spoil things. Games, movies, my girlfriend's lives, podcast or listener experiences. Just spoil. Be prepared to be spoiled and let down for the next 90 minutes or so. And we're gonna get into all that in just a second, because speaking of being spoiled, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. Dun, 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 dun! And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long. They're not that long. They are kind of long, but they're fun. We talk video games and stuff. They're a good time. And if you want to skip them, you don't have to shoot your way through dozens and dozens and dozens of bad guys to do it. All you got to do is take that little slider on your phone, take it to about the 30-minute mark. You're into the game chat. No need to get your knickers knotted. Or listen to the whole thing. That's what I recommend. If you're going to skip anything, skip this part. I got plugs. I got to do them. It's like 90 seconds. I got to keep my bills on. It's what we do. We have a Patreon. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. It's not one of those crappy Patreons where we just ask you to give us money. We don't fucking do anything. We do 4 additional shows almost every week. schedule permitting. Most weeks, I would say over 80% of the time. 4 additional shows, no ads in any of them, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Plus, you get Remember the Game ad-free with timestamps, all 384 episodes. You can start listening to those for as little as $3 a month. And not only do you get a bunch of extra podcasts, but you can write into the show, you can vote on the games we cover, you can join our massive 1,000+ or I always forget if it's 1,000+ or 1,500+. Whatever, our massive Discord, and you'll get instant access to the entire back catalogs of the podcasts at your tier, which is literally hundreds and hundreds of bonus podcasts waiting for you the second you sign up. Plus, I stream at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, Monday through Friday for patrons. You can check those out as well. And in addition to all of that, you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I may not do this week. Maybe not. Let's see. A huge thank you to our newest patrons, Sardonic Pickle, Uncle Sex Panther. Every family's got one. An Uncle Sex. I'm probably the Uncle Sex Panther in my family. Tom Godlewski, Matthew G, Matt, and Stephen Brennan. I'm going to go Stephen Brennan. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. You can find all that at patreon.com/rememberthegame. There's some free episodes over there if you want to just see how it works. Subscriptions start at $3 a month. We donate part of it to ALS and the Stollery Children's Hospital at the end of the year. And if you sign up for 12 months, we'll give you a month on the house, because damn it, that's how we roll. That's not blowing myself. Let's blow some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our patrons, usually gaming related, but not always. And we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Donnie the Dude Walter, who says, yo, how many ascensions you got in Slay the Spire 2? Sincerely, your friend, Donnie. Shout out to Slay the Spire 2. It's actually funny you asked that, because on the August 20th episode of Expansion Pass, we talked about the fall video game schedule, and we're talking about just how insane 2026 has been for video games. And obviously one of the many, I think I've played 15 releases this year, and there's 17 more I want to and know I won't be able to get to. One of those 15 is Slay the Spire 2. I'm ashamed that I'm not further in it than I want to be. Everybody knows it's the unofficial official game of Remember the Game Industries. I love Slay the Spire. I just haven't had a ton of time to play it. With the Ironclad, I'm at Ascension level 5. And then with 3 of the other, with the Silent, the Defect, and the... Fuck, what are the new ones? The one where you control the hand. The Necro, whatever. With those ones, I think I'm all at level 2. I have yet to win a game with the one where you use the sword, where you can summon that sword. I haven't played as that one a lot. I don't like that character very much. I have not won a game yet. I am a disgrace to the Slay the Spires everywhere. So I need... It's one of those games, like, I don't even think I'm going to do a review episode of it, because it's just Slay the Spire 1, but bigger and better. It's got a new hat. It's just one of those games that I, like, fire up at random times, and I'll play through a couple of runs, and then I'll put it down for another 2 weeks, but... It is awesome. It is awesome. I highly recommend it. Can't wait for it to come to console, but it's pretty good on my Steam Deck. Slay the Spire, greatest video game in the history of the universe. Mr. Gunderson says, Hit and Run Remake rumor is credible now. I repeat, Hit and Run Remake is credible now. I attribute this new development to the past Expansion Pass episode. It cannot be a coincidence. It is funny that right after we talked about, we have willed a lot of things into existence around here over the years. And it's funny that right after we talked about what we would do with the perfect Simpsons game, Matt Groening comes out. If you haven't seen it yet, Matt Groening was at the Disney, I don't know what it's called, the Disney panel or whatever the fuck last weekend, and said that he thinks the original Hit and Run will be back in some form. And then right afterwards, they were like, or not, no, it won't. So at this point, nobody seems to know if Hit and Run will be back or not. If you want my prediction, I think it will be at some point. I think it'll be around the time the next Simpsons movie drops next summer. I'm hoping for a sequel. I would, if you ask me, I would take a sequel. And if I can't have a sequel, I'll take a remake. If I can't have a remake, I'll take just a re-release of the OG. Because I know most people consider it to be the best Simpsons game. It probably is. I have a soft spot for Road Rage, but it probably is objectively the best Simpsons game, except maybe the arcade beat 'em up. Yeah, I did see it. Matt Groening saying he's coming back. Guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think in the next, it's August 19th right now. I think in the next 12 months, you're going to be able to play The Simpsons Hit and Run on modern consoles in one form or another. In one form or another. There is an episode about it in the archives if you're interested. It's an oldie. It's an oldie. That might like predate the infamous intro. It might be that old. Hit and Run. Jesus. Episode 57. Me and ye old Mark McHugh back on episode 57. That's a long time ago. Fuck. My hair was one color almost back then. The Archmage says Julie Kavner could. This is what the Archmage said. Julie Kavner could still do Marge's voice when we did Hit and Run. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I love Miss Kavner, but anyways. The Archmage says, Adam, I had a thought today about how consoles are kind of a step behind cell phones. Hear me out. So way back when we had the little Nokia bricks and flip phones, that's like when we had the NES and the Super Nintendo. When we jumped to 3D gaming and using discs, that's like when smartphones showed up and we were like, wow, look what I can do. Or look what it can do. And every generation we got a new one. And there was some huge upgrade. Nowadays, smartphones have never been more expensive and offered such small improvements compared to when we first got them. And I feel like modern gaming has come to that. I fully expect the next PlayStation and Xbox to be the most expensive consoles ever and offers such a slight improvement over what we currently have. And I just don't think most people will be happy about it. But inevitably, they'll sell because people just won't want to give up their favorite console / gaming altogether. Do you feel like this is a fair assessment, or do you think something else is on the horizon? I never thought of it that way, but I do think that's probably a pretty fair assessment. Like, because I agree with you, dude. Like, I've bought a new phone in the last few years, but I never buy like the newest phone because I don't give a fuck, and I'm hard as fuck. I don't give a fuck. But also, like, I don't know. You're right. Like, the jump from like, I don't even know what number of iPhone we're at now, but for the sake of this conversation, let's say we're at 15. I don't fucking know. If they're like, yo, the jump from 14 to 15 is like $800 to like $1,500, and the camera's got an extra half a dozen pixels, and you're right. It's the jumps just aren't crazy like they used to be, and the price tag fucking is. And I'll hear that with consoles too. I think we talked about this last week about whether or not gaming can end up mostly on mobile devices. Like the jump from the 16-bit and the 2D era to the 3D era was fucking insane. The jump from the 64 and the PS1 to the GameCube and the PS2 was wild. The jump from the PS2, the 360 to the PS3, the jump from the PS2 Xbox to the PS3 360, it was like not as big as PS1 to PS2, but it was noticeable. It was a big deal. PS3 360 to PS4 and the Xbox One was still like, wow. And then, yeah, the PS5 Series X generation, it does kind of feel like the PS4, Xbox One with new glasses. And you're right. The PlayStation, make no mistake, friends, the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox Series Helix, or whatever the fuck they end up calling the next Xbox, are unquestionably going to be the most expensive like consoles probably of all time. And I don't think they're going to justify those price tags. And I do agree with you that we're probably going to buy them anyways. At least most of us will. I fucking will. It just makes you wonder, like, I think the jump from the PS5, like this generation, to the PS6 Project Helix will probably be fine. It's going to be expensive. You're going to get some people kicking and screaming about PlayStation going digital and stuff, but they're going to sell and it's going to be okay. I wonder, though, like when the PlayStation 7, so like let's say the PS6 drops by, it'll be out by 2030. It'll probably be out before then, but let's just call it 2030 for a round number, like 2029, 2030, right? So then you're probably buying the PS7, and assuming Xbox isn't dead 6 feet underground, you're buying their next consoles, what, 2038, 2039? Like, is there going to be enough of a hardware jump to just like, or is that when we go to VR? Or is that when it all ends up streaming? Or is that when video games are just getting shot onto your phone or shot into your brain? I don't know. It's like, it's so funny, hey? Like, we've never had a time in gaming where it felt like there was a cap on just how much further these things could go. And it kind of feels like we're there now. We're getting closer anyways. Like a ceiling on how advanced these things can get. I am very interested to see. I'm very interested to see how like the PlayStation is, because let's say the PS6 is running you $1,000 Canadian. Like let's say it's, I don't know, 700 or 800 American. That's what, 1,100, whatever the fuck Canadian. Fucking Canada. Is that, what do they need to do to get people to buy that? Like, if they're just like, everything's in 8K, 150 million frames per second, like, how much better can games, like, remember when I know I'm rambling here, but like, do you remember in the PS2 era when it was like, your graphics will never get better than this? But like, now it's like, how much better can graphics get? And you're going to keep charging us more and more. I don't know. It's interesting. Something will change. I don't know. If I had to guess, I think things go streaming. That's where I think, is gaming ends up, I think by the PlayStation 7 era, gaming is primarily streamed. But I don't know. It's interesting. You're right. It is. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Because like smartphones haven't had a big leap like that in a while either. Maybe consoles will become foldable. I don't fucking know. Show Me Potato Salad said, I finally bought a Nintendo Switch 2 and I have been very pleased. Also, Mario Kart World is a fun game that me and my kids have really enjoyed playing together. Based off of some of the reviews, I was expecting Mario Kart World to play like Superman 64. Dude, congrats on the Switch 2. Mario Kart World's fine. I did my review of it last year when it came out and I didn't love it. But I've said many times, like, it plays great. It looks awesome. My big gripe with Mario Kart World is that the tracks suck. Like, that's really what it boils down to. Those straight line tracks fucking suck. That's like, if it just had good tracks, I'd probably like it almost as much as like Mario Kart 8. It's not broken. It's not buggy. It's not, like it's polished. It's what you would expect from Nintendo. Listen, you all can hate on Nintendo as much as you want. Nintendo drops a lot of polished games. I know you can point at Pokemon and stuff, but like a lot of their games, like if Mario's on the cover, it probably runs and performs like it's supposed to. Mario Kart World plays great. The problem is that the tracks are shit. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. Show Me Potato Salad. I still go back to it and play it once in a while. I love Knockout Tour. I fucking love Knockout Tour. But I'm hoping we get some DLC with some better, not just straight dirt road tracks, because that's what it's missing. We need more good themed 3-lap tracks, and then I'm coming back. Please, Nintendo, please. Until then, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds for the win. Love that fucking game. Homebed Now said, hey, Adam, have you seen the Pokemon Gen 1 3D ROM hacks? They look class. Do you think you will get involved? Never say never. Because people for years have been up my ass to play more ROM hacks. And for the longest time, I was against it for two reasons. One, I'm not going to review them on the show. Like, I'm not going to come in here and be like, all right, today we're talking Super Mario World Second Reality Project, this really tough Super Mario World ROM hack. Because, like, what am I going to say? Like, it's Super Mario World, but harder. Like, I can't do an hour show about that. And then the other, so, like, that was number one. And I'm like, I play so many games as it is for the show. I just don't have a lot of time to waste on, like, games just to fuck around with anymore. And then the second one was because I hate computers and I don't understand how they work and stuff. But I have recently installed Retrobat, I think, on my computer, and it's fucking pretty awesome. I'm really happy with it as an emulator. And I have been playing some ROM hacks. I've been playing a lot of Super Mario hacks on my Patreon streams. I've got some Mega Man hacks. I got some Zelda hacks. I got some Mario Kart hacks. I still don't think I'm ever going to do like a podcast about maybe like a one-off expansion pass at some point. I'd really like to start doing some YouTube videos on them. It's just time is of the essence. I'll be honest, like a Pokemon Gen 1 ROM hack isn't at the top of my pile. I am more interested in like some Nintendo 64 wrestling games. I like my Marios. I want to try some new Zeldas, some new Metroids. But I have a ton of them downloaded that I just haven't even fired up yet to see what they're about. But never say never. The day could come because Gen 1 and I am partial to Gen 1 and Gen 2 of Pokemon. So never say never. Homebed Now. Not at the top of the pile, but not at the bottom of it either. I don't know what it would be at the bottom. Probably Echo the Dolphin. Horace Earl says, hey, Adam, I hope you and your family are well. I just got a 2DS XL today for the first time, and it's awesome. Any underrated gems I should consider snagging for the system? I've already picked up copies of Pokemon Black, Fire Emblem Awakening, and The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, and I was curious if you had any other suggestions. Any genre's fine. Thanks for the great content, as always. Thanks, Horace. I've never used a 2DS. I wanted one at one point, and I never did get one. But I'm glad you're digging it. I'll be honest, dude, like, my knowledge of the 3DS is not that deep. You've got Link Between Worlds, it's my favorite. You got Fire Emblem Awakening, that's my second favorite. So, other than those, Mario 3D Land, I'm sure I would go into the Discord and put out a call to action. I guarantee you people got way more suggestions than I do. Mario 3D Land is really good. I can't remember if Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. I think that was a GBA game. But it was a good game, but I think it was GBA. I know there's more Fire Emblem on there that I never played. There was like Fates and something. There was like a 2-parter that then had a third part to it. I didn't play those though. Mario Kart 7 is pretty good. Mario Kart DS is pretty good. Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. I didn't love it, but some do. So you can check out the review if you want to, but that one's in there. Like the Mario and Luigi games are pretty charming. They're just, I think they're kind of hit and miss, but when they hit, they hit. Off the top of my head, Tetris DS is fucking fire too. Off the top of my head, those are my DS picks. I haven't played a ton of DS, like I said. But give those a chance. Those will keep you busy for a while. And then, yeah, I would holler at the Discord. They'll pump you full of DS. They'll DS you. They'll DS you, that's for sure. And finally, before I move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. French Froggy says, the rumored Xbox disc to digital got me thinking. Do you think Sony should implement something similar to try to appease the players that have a lot of games on discs? I don't really care about PlayStation going all digital, but I worry I won't be able to play the games I own right now when my PS5 dies eventually. So, yeah, they should. I don't think they will, but they should. So Xbox is implementing some disc to digital program, and no one seems to be 100% confident in what it is. The gist of it, when they roll it out, appears to be you'll be able to put a physical Xbox disc into like your Series X, and then Xbox will give you access to the digital version of the game you own, but it'll be tied to the disc. That's the part that's confusing me. So it's like, so will the disc have to stay in your Series X to play the digital version? Because if that's the case, what's the point? Or will it just be if you give your disc to someone or sell your disc or whatever the fuck, and somebody else puts that disc in and goes onto the Xbox marketplace and downloads the digital version of the game, will you lose access to it? Like, I don't quite understand how it works, but the premise of it at least appears to be if you own physical games, we'll give you the digital versions. And I'm of the impression, as I think many are, that the reason they're doing this is because I think they're going discless with the Project Helix as well, their next system. And so they're like, at least we're not leaving you high and dry. If you've been buying physical games, put them in your console and we'll give you the digital version, which I think is a pretty generous, solid compromise / branch offering to people out there that like their physical games. If PlayStation does do the same, and that is what it is, if PlayStation was to come out and be like, yo guys, with the PS6, no physical discs, but if you've got physical games on your PS5, put them in and we'll give you the digital license. The problem is, like I said, you got to tie it to the disc somehow, because otherwise people can go to like an EB Games or whatever the fuck and buy like a disc version of Elden Ring or like one of the games that's retained some value, toss it in their PS5, get the digital version, and then just return the disc to EB, and now they've got the digital version instead. So that's how it's tying it to the disc, but you can't be able to put the disc in all the time. So I don't know if each disc has like its own individual like DNA where they'll know like, hey, wait a minute, this is the copy that Becky in San Francisco used to get their digital copy, and now Sean in Los Angeles has it. Like, you know, send the cops. Like, I don't know how they're gonna stop that. But I get the impression that's what Xbox is doing. I think it'd be awesome if PlayStation did that. I don't know if I'd go as far. I don't know. Should they? Like, at the end of the day, they're not going to. So I don't think it's gonna matter. If you ask me, which I guess you did, I think the best compromise we'll get out of Sony, and I don't think we'll get it. I think the best compromise we'll get out of them will be if you own a game physically on like your PS4 or PS5, you can throw it in your console, and then we'll sell you the digital game for like $10. I'm not saying you have to agree with that, but like they don't even offer free upgrades from PS4 to PS5 all the time anymore. I just can't imagine a world where they just start giving away games digitally for free. I think that would be a reasonable compromise personally, if that's what they said going into the PlayStation 6. That way all your physical PS5 games aren't useless. Or if they sell, I think either that or if they sell an optional disc drive for the PS6 or make the optional disc drive for the PS5 work on the PS6. I'm not convinced we get any of those, but I think that's most likely scenario. So, be interesting to see how these, like, they're going discless. Like, it's all just, PlayStation's already announced it. Xbox, it's a matter of time. I think we all know that. And Nintendo's going digital someday too, probably with their next console. So I'm interested to see how these companies adjust to it, and how these companies, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Not pacify, placate their players. Like, I'm not trying to call you babies and be like, all right, here, quit your bitching. But just like, what do they do to keep players happy? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. So I want more information on this fucking Xbox program, and they haven't rolled it out yet. It fucking tears me up inside. Anyways, thanks for writing in, everybody. We got to keep the ball rolling. So let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. It's Play 1, Remake 1, Erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our patrons 3 retro video games. They can play when it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. We'll get to that in a minute. This week we're talking Bioshock Infinite, so I went with 3 third games. We got Halo 3, Mass Effect 3, and Gears 3. This was a tough one. This one was tough. 32% of you said you'd play Halo 3, remake Mass Effect 3, and erase Gears 3. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. I'm reading yeah, let's go. Nick GC said, play Halo 3, it stands the test of time. Remake Mass Effect 3 strictly because it's an RPG, and very, very unfortunately, erase Gears 3. I'm not saying that's the right answer, Nick, but when I went to give you guys my answer, erasing any of these ripped my heart out of my chest. So I appreciate everybody that played by the rules despite not wanting to. Erasing one of these 3 games is like fucking, I don't want to say it's killing a child. That's a little absurd, but it's like, I don't know. It's like fucking erasing a game you love. I don't know. Shut up. Where's my belt? Said, I'll play Gears 3 since I've never owned an Xbox and the Gears games look awesome. I'll remake Mass Effect 3 since the Mass Effect games are my favorite games of all time, and I'd fix the ending. And then I'd erase Halo 3 because it's the odd one out. I've always preferred third person to first person. I have 2. For the record, third person is always better than first person. Even though I like some first person games like Bioshock and Halo, third person is better. Agreed. Gerg Schlongmelon said, play Mass Effect 3. By play Mass Effect 3, we mean replay the entire trilogy, right? Yeah, fuck yeah, why not? You should. One does not simply play one Mass Effect. When you play one, you play all 3 of them. Remake Gears 3 because why not? Seems like a fun game, and why not slap a fresh coat of paint on it? Erase Halo 3 because fuck Master Chief, I guess. Master Chief's cool. Some of the other Halo, yeah, fuck. But the PP Poo Poo Man says, I'd play Halo 3 because it's the perfect pick up and play shooter with friends. I'd remake Gears of War 3, but it's in a trilogy remake bundle on PlayStation. I've never had an Xbox, and Adam keeps talking up Gears, and I want to try them. And I'd erase Mass Effect 3 because I have the trilogy, and so I'd still have it because there's no rules when it comes to the casualty of play one, remake one, erase one. Double secret probation if you must. Ain't nobody got time for big RPGs anymore. That's true. There is no rules. Like I'll hear that argument. If you erase Mass Effect 3, you're rolling the dice, but there's a possibility that you keep the Legacy Collection. It could happen. Could happen. It's all the dice you roll. Sardonic Pickle said, I'll play Gears 3 because I haven't played any Gears games before. I'd remake Mass Effect 3 because although I love the original, including the original ending, what? Oh, I see. I see. I'm sorry. Okay. I'd remake Mass Effect 3 because although I do love the original, including the original ending, I want to erase Halo 3 because I've only played the first 3 Halos and that was the weakest and I have to remake one, so I went with Mass Effect 3. That's, you know what? If you're erasing the one you've played and keeping the one you haven't, which is Gears, I'm on board with that, Pickle. And AL Howe says, play Halo 3 because I can't think of anything that needs to be changed. It's great. Remake Mass Effect 3 to fix some of the narrative issues and erase Gears 3. I've never played it, so it makes it easy. LMAO. You are not LMAOing over that. People throw LMAO and LOL around too easily these days. You're not. If you laugh that much, jeez. Anyway, the thing about it is like, Gears 3, if all you're playing is Gears 3 when you haven't played 1 and 2, it's not going to make any sense. It's like Mass Effect. It's probably like Halo 2. That's one of the tricky things. Is like you have to have played the ones before them. I very, very rarely read the comments from people that don't give an answer. That just weigh in and they're like too hard not answering it. But Mike is in. Mike said, I'll give myself double secret probation and double secret probation and see myself out. Well, people might have a least favorite kid. I cannot and will not choose between these 3. I felt that way myself, buddy. This was the hardest one I think I've ever done, at least from my perspective, because I love all 3 of these games. I went with the runner-up. I went with 17% of you, as did Gilded Jackal, who said, play Gears 3. It's a great game you can blaze through pretty quickly. Remake Mass Effect 3. There's so much to these games already, but I know there's so much more they could add. And then erase Halo 3. It was magical when it released, but now I feel like we're all just chasing the high we had from the golden age. Well said. Pretty similar reasoning. I'm going to play Gears 3 because it's the one that I haven't replayed in the longest. We're actually going to be doing it. Tyler and I will be reviewing it before Gears E-Day drops. But I haven't played it in some time. So I want to replay Gears 3 because I haven't played it in a while. And then I flip-flopped on this remake for about 2 days, man. That's why this episode went up so late, because I couldn't decide which one to remake. I'm going to remake Mass Effect 3. I'm going to give it modern graphics, deeper gameplay. Maybe I'll spruce up the ending a little bit, add some more content. I love Mass Effect 3, but I'm sure it could be, everyone can always drop an extra pound or two. And then I guess I'm racing Halo 3. I hate doing it, but I hate Halo 4 and 5. So I'm like, if I have to, then so be it. I got Halo 1 and 2. Gears has given me more hope that they'll bounce back. Because I like Gears 5. Gears 4 I don't love, but I like Gears 5. And I'm excited for Gears E-Day. Halo 4 I don't particularly like. Halo 5 I don't particularly like. Halo Infinite was a game. It was okay. But I'm a racing Halo 3. I hate to do it, but I got to race one. So thank you, everybody that wrote in as always. What have I been playing? And then we're talking Bioshock Infinite. I've been playing Bioshock Infinite, including the DLC. I'll tell you about that in about 2 minutes here. I played Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land, which we'll be reviewing on the next RTG. We'll be recording that tomorrow. It's a pretty good game. Not great, but pretty good. For modern games, I've been playing Splatoon Raiders. I almost didn't pick it up. Then I decided to, and I'm really hooked on it right now. And then I've been playing Halo Campaign Evolved. It's fine. I'm not sure if I can do a review of it. Like, I don't know what I'm going to say about that one. It's basically just Halo, but with the nicer graphics and a couple of extra missions. If you've never played it, that's the way to play Halo. But, like, the Halo 1 campaign is a little... I love it, but we've done 2 RTGs about it already. It's a little archaic. What else can I say? And that's and then Oblivion. A little bit of Oblivion to get ready for that episode. And that's pretty much what I've been playing. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pause here. We'll let a sponsor in. They'll peddle their wares. I'll play your retro gaming ad. And when we get back, it's just Bioshock Infinite from here until the credits. Okay, remember the game will return after these messages.
Nico, my cousin! I can't believe it, you're here! Welcome to America!
Got away from seeing red. I wanna shoot you down now for the things you did.
What motivates you?
I don't care if I live or die.
Long way to see you.
I'm looking for someone.
I wish you were dead. Wish you were dead.
Don't do anything stupid, cousin! Man, I'm ready for you! I'm ready!
I wish you were dead.
I don't want to die, man, not like this!
How would you like to die?
We need to go bust somebody, man!
I'm the one who survived.
Grand Theft Auto 4. Rated M for mature.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard me talk about BetterHelp for a long time now and how it can be a great way to give therapy a shot, but we've never really talked about why people like BetterHelp and how much they like it once they give it a chance. You can go to betterhelp.com/reviews to see updated reviews in real time, with hundreds of new reviews talking about how much BetterHelp has improved users' lives popping up every day. They've got over 1.7 million client session reviews now, with an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5. Real feedback from real users of BetterHelp, and those scores speak for themselves. More than 6 million people around the world have used BetterHelp over the years. All their therapists have at least 3 years and 1,000 hours of hands-on experience, and they hold all the required education, training, and certifications across a range of mental health specialties. And in my opinion, the most important part, they make it easy to give therapy a chance. Fill out a quick questionnaire online and let them know what's on your mind, and they'll match you with a therapist suited to your needs. And you can switch therapists anytime if it's not the right fit. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. Visit betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's talk some Bioshock Infinite. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my nerds sound off on the game we're covering. So let's see what some of you had to say. A lot of comments on this one. A lot of comments. Some passionate Bioshock is out there, which I appreciate. I was trying to figure out how to would you kindly with that, but it didn't work. Anyway, Travis Renberg says, my favorite of the series. Story in this was amazing and keeps you thinking about it after you finish. It also reminds me of a Christopher Nolan flick in the sense that you realize so many more things on the second playthrough. Hope you enjoyed it, Adam. I did enjoy it. I did. I definitely, the story landed with me harder than I remember it landing the first time. That's for sure. All I remember from the first time is the riding around on the airlines, the ropes or whatever, and the being in the sky. And Elizabeth, of course. Gem. Bartman Forever says, this is the last game I remember renting from my local rental store. It was also the first Bioshock I played, and I was blown away by the story, so of course I had to go back and play the original. Both are amazing. Agreed. If you haven't played 2, Bartman, play 2. I can't imagine starting with this one. Like, I guess it works, but the ending would seem so weird. But I guess it works. Yeah, like I don't want to spoil it in here, but yeah, I guess the ending works, even if you don't know the context. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so many stars. Professor White T says, first playthrough, I was slightly disappointed because it didn't feel like the original Bioshock that I love. Still don't think it quite hits like the OG, but a very quality game nonetheless, and a ton of fun to play. Well said, White T. Very White T take. Triple Three says, I personally thank Adam for getting me to play the original Bioshock years ago when the episode dropped. Fast forward to this year, and I fully played through this gem that is Bioshock Infinite for the first time. I personally think this game is just slightly better than the OG because of pacing. I was genuinely shocked at the ending, just like in the OG as well. The atmosphere, storytelling, and sound design that comes from this development team is in the top echelon. Thank you, RTG, for highlighting Bioshock, as these games will be my gaming rotation for my lifetime. I used to be like, Judas, who cares? To now being one of my most anticipated games after finally sitting down with Bioshock Infinite. Buddy, I'm glad you enjoyed them. Always warms my heart when someone says I turned them on to a game. Cannot wait for Judas. Can't wait for Judas. Rose636 says, I felt like I was in a minority when this came out by disliking it, but recent opinions on these games have looked back fondly at Bioshock 2 and more critically of Infinite, so I can get behind that. I could wax lyrical about the pretentious story, the unnecessary diversions, and the feeling that the game thinks it's a lot smarter than it actually is, but my main gripe is the 2-weapon limit. You can never viably keep a fun weapon because ammo drops less frequently than the machine gun or shotgun, etc., so I could only use the fun guns when they conveniently gave me one to use for a set piece that they've set up, but then I'm forced right back to using a machine gun. It's an interesting... I'll say my thoughts. I'm not sure where I am on the 2-weapon thing, but I'll save it for the episode. Tyler and I are supposed to be recording it momentarily, so I'll save my. I'm ready to pop. I'm ready to burst, but I'll save it. I'll save it. Jason Hosh says, I played many games before this that I loved and have nostalgia for, but at 13, I think this was the first game to create a real sense of wonder for me. One of the first to show me that games could be so much more than just the gameplay itself, along with the Naughty Dog titles. Fuck. You fucking kids. To be 13. Yeah, but Bioshock Infinite came out. Jesus Christ. Fuck, I'm like offended by that. Justin Autry says, after playing both Bioshock and the even better follow-up Bioshock 2. Ooh, that's a hot take. That's a hot take, Justin. Wow. I had to say that I had high hopes for Infinite, and while the setting was amazing and the gameplay was fun, the story felt confusing for no reason other than trying to outdo Bioshock 1's twist with something that feels like M. Night Shyamalan would have came up with. I don't know if I fully disagree with that. I can't put Bioshock 2 ahead of 1, but fascinating. Anyway, let's get into it. Spoilers again. We're spoiling. At least we're going to try to spoil. I'm going to give you my interpretation of the ending anyway, and I imagine Tyler's going to do the same. I'll cue up some Bioshock Infinite music. And when it stops, we'll talk Bioshock Infinite, which originally released in North America on the PS3, Xbox 360, and PC on March 26, 2013. 13 years ago. Holy cow. Enjoy the episode, everybody. Would you kindly enjoy the episode, everybody? Here we go. Oh, I should have done. Should have had that ready the first time. Fuck this. All right, joining me via the blank phone tonight to talk some Bioshock Infinite is the guy that talked Bioshock 1 and the guy who talked Bioshock 2, the big daddy of Remember the Game Industries, my buddy Tyler. What's going on, man? Happy Wednesday evening. How was life?
Life's great, man. Like lots going on with the acting stuff. My career company is doing really well, I guess. I don't know. I have no control in that, but the acting stuff is going great, and I get to be on this podcast. That's amazing.
That's the big one. Is the the stupid podcast. That's the one.
When they're like, "Hey, can you be available for these days to film?" Or they're like, "Hey, you want to work some overtime?" I can't. I'm busy with the podcast. I have a podcast to be on.
You know what I've learned is like and I'm ashamed to say this if anyone's listening to this. If I've ever said to you, if any of my friends are hearing this and they hear me say, I use the podcast as an excuse to get out of social obligations now, which I do sometimes. If I've ever done it to you, that time it was legitimate, if you're a friend of mine. But there have been instances where I'm just like, people invite me to shit, and I'm like, I can't, bro. I got a podcast tonight. And it just, yeah, it's like a kid, except I don't have to feed it. It's fucking pretty good. So, anyways, Bioshock Infinity, the final Bioshock. We did it. I finished a replay of this one a few days ago. I know you were tinker with this one. I like it more than I did the first time I played it, but I gotta say, in my opinion, it's still the worst isn't the word. It's my least favorite of the three.
Same, but that's because I loved the Art Deco style of 1 and 2. I loved being in Rapture. I loved the setting, and going to the sky was cool, but it switched from like Art Deco, 1920s, 30s kind of vibes to like steampunk, and I just that simple change. I was like, man, I like this less, and
Yeah,
it plays really well. Like you move, you shoot, all the controls. It handles like Bioshock. Like it's, there's no sprint, but you have the sky hook. So you do get some like faster movements and stuff, so a little bit more modern in that. But like it plays a lot like the original 2 as far as controls. But the setting, like that, and it did phenomenally. Like it got really good ratings. The story's amazing. The story's very, very in line with like, Robert E. Heinlein or man, I'm forgetting who wrote Predestination, but like
it's like I have no fucking idea who that is.
he writes
I'm useless
sci-fi,
fuck.
like super cool sci-fi. Lots of stuff is based on his stuff.
Oh, okay,
Like
okay.
Blade Runner is one of his, or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. And then
Okay.
everybody's like, you mixed up your authors, but he's
Fuck.
one of the big.
I love how my guests are like so much smarter than I am. Like Mark will come in here and drop fucking tidbits about like music and fucking movies, and you're up in here dropping authors' names, and I'm just like, duh, I'm the captain. My name is Adam. Like I'm the most useless saga shit. I agree. Like I can't say it as elegantly as you, but like my lasting impression, because I just like me replaying this game. It's the first time I've played it since it came out back in 2013. And my lasting impressions of it were that you're in the sky, you have like a grappling hook, you can swing around on these lines, and you're saving this girl named Elizabeth.
Yeah,
And which is what this game is. Replaying it, I think I like it more now than I did when I played it back in 2013. But at the end of the day, I think I'm trying to like pick my words carefully, because I'm really not trying to sound like I don't like. I really do like this game. Like I'm not like, oh, what's wrong with this game? Because that's not what it is. I just agree with you. At the end, like at the end of the day, Rapture is just a cooler setting,
I'm
like
just.
than
It is
Columbia.
100%. I'm gonna correct myself quickly. Philip K. Dick wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and
Oh,
Robert E. Heinlein wrote Starship Troopers.
all right,
But
shout out.
they're prolific sci-fi writers, and that's what I felt like Infinite was. It was very prolifically sci-fi in this steampunk setting, but I loved, like you said, I loved Rapture. I loved being underwater. I thought that was so cool.
Me
And being in
too.
the sky, like we can go to the sky, so it felt less forbidden,
Yeah, like
less mystical, like less
it's like it sounds.
mystic. I guess I don't know.
It's so stupid to say that, like, it just seems less realistic when it's like the first two games are like, hey, we built an entire city underwater and also came up with magic potions that give you special abilities. And I'm like, see, now that's realistic. That could happen. But having a city in the sky, come on. And it's like, it's not the realistic or unrealistic part of it. It's just, like you said, Rapture just has this. I think what it is, like, Rapture, which I guess if by chance you've never played the first two Bioshock games, the first two are set in this city underwater. Rapture, it's like a new civilization built underwater. This one's set in a civilization that's built up in the sky. It's like literally just stays in the sky all the time.
Yeah,
And like,
named Columbia,
name Columbia.
funded by the American government, to prove America's like extravagance and technological, prowess. And but then they eventually Columbia breaks off because Comstocks, the guy who runs it, is a megalomaniac, self-proclaimed prophet, and decides like, the U.S. is not for me. We're going to the clouds, baby.
Yeah. And this is set like way back in the like 1910s, I
19
think.
yeah, 1913, 1910. I think like the story kind of spans 1890 to 1910 because of how it jumps around, like your
Yeah. It's
baptism
like,
and all that.
because that was, I'm ashamed to say, like, one of the things I couldn't remember about the game was I was like, how can they fly? Like, how is a plane never flown into them? But it's like, oh yeah, it's 1912. There's not exactly like Boeing 757s out there and shit. Yeah, so that makes sense. Um, I just Rapture, those first two games where you're under the water, there's something like it's like a tension to them where it just feels like there is no escape. Like you can't. I know there's no escape in Colombia either because if you jump, you're fucking falling and then you die. But there's just something, and maybe it's just because I have a fear of deep water. But there's something more intense about Rapture being like you're trapped with these splicers and these fucking people that have lost their minds and these maniacs and these big
Yeah.
daddies and these underwater. There's no escape. Fight your way out. Whereas
Yeah.
like Colombia, it even just being out in like the like even when you start like when you start Bioshock Infinite and he goes to the light tower and he ends up in the sky and he walks out into like the fair and all that, like it's almost like you can just smell the carnival and smell the fresh air, and it something about that just doesn't land as intensely as Rapture does.
Well, and I think there's something like so in Colombia, it's religious zealots following Comstock. Like the whole time they're calling you the false prophet, and we'll get to that later. But you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, why am I the false prophet? What the hell is he? What's going on here? Why? And it's it creates a similar intensity, but I feel like with Rapture, with the insane people, like uncovering a mystery as you go through, and there's nobody to help you. Like you're the detective in a crime scene, and like your first foray into Rapture, it's not like there's people who are like, "Hey, welcome to Rapture. This is so awesome." Like there is in Colombia, like your first little bit, you're at the fair and everything before things pop off, and you start, trying to rescue Elizabeth and become this false prophet that they accuse you of. Whereas you run into insane people who have like self mutilated and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And add that, like, currently, we know very little about the ocean. It's very little of it is explored. So it's a mystery today to
Like
us.
there
To
could
us,
be a Rapture out there. Like there
there
could
could,
be a city underwater we've never found.
yeah, exactly. There could
I know
be,
there's not, but there could. I don't
there
know.
could be. We don't know. There
It
could be
seems more
slugs.
plausible than a city in the air.
Well, and there could be slugs with magical goo that gives you powers. Like it just that the mystery just builds such a solid world. Whereas like a city in the sky, it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, we can see in the sky. That's cool.
Yeah.
It
I
just
think
the setting felt less. That's ultimately what it came down to. That's
yeah.
like my only criticism is I just felt less mystique, less drawn in, less in awe of the environment.
So I have two, and again, I'm trying to I wish I was more learned. Like my one gripe, I guess, with Infinite is that I don't like Columbia as much as I like Rapture. And then my other, and it was funny even reading the comments from the listeners today. Like people are all over the place on this game. Like no one's out being like this game sucks, but some people think it's the best in the trilogy. Some people think it's the worst in the trilogy, which is a camp I find myself in. It's my least favorite of the trilogy. My other issue with it is that and maybe some will mock me for this. I don't like the story of this one as much. Like in BioShock 1, you have the whole story where like you're trying to take like Andrew Ryan is in charge, and then you've got Fontaine like helping you through it or whatever the fuck, or Atlas. I can't remember which one it is, but like, and again, I said spoilers are all on the table. And then at the end of the game, like you find out the guy who's been helping you is actually like a bad guy too. And it works. And it's like, and I like
And the
that.
twist, like there's
And
a
the
huge twist in the first one
and
where
the yeah.
it makes you look back and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Because the whole time, the guy who's helping you, may you please. And all of a sudden that
Oh, would you
keyword,
kindly?
would you kindly? Yeah, would you kindly? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, if we get
And
that wrong, people lose their fucking minds. Jesus
man,
Christ.
the
We
game
should have
is
agreed to. We should have agreed before we recorded to just say like, "Would you please?" for the whole episode, and never
Would
once
you
address that we
please?
got it wrong, and just
Yeah.
watch the internet. It'd be the death of remember the game.
Oh,
Fuck
glorious.
me. Anyway,
Um,
sorry, I didn't mean to
but
derail you. Go ahead.
no, all good, all good. And for correcting me, all good. Please always correct me. My brain is fried right now. I'm working a shutdown right now. If people don't know what that is, I'm in a latex suit in the blistering heat for 10 hours a day. It sucks. So I'm a little bit like heat stressed and dehydrated as I drink like a coffee instead of water. But yeah, so like the twist and the reveal and looking back at all these times where he gave you a command code, it's like, jaw dropping. It's jaw dropping. The twist in this and the reveal, it's like crazy and insane and felt like big and momentous, but it just there was already a really good twist in the first one.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's what somebody said in the comments. They were like, their biggest issue with this game was that the ending, the twist at the end, which we're gonna get to, uh, felt like they were trying to recreate the shock of Bioshock One,
yeah,
and like
that's
just
100%.
didn't land, which I agree with. And if I'm being quite frank with you, dude, like I finished this game. I really tried to dial in and pay attention while I was playing it. And I still had to look up like the Wikipedia page when I was done and like read a summary of the plot because I still wasn't entirely understanding what happened. Now I think I do. And it's not, I think Bioshock 3's biggest problem, I think we said this when we reviewed Last of Us, when I did my review of The Last of Us Part 2. Bioshock Infinite's biggest problem is it's in the shadow, in my opinion, of Bioshock 1. And
Oh
it's
yeah,
like that game, I think Bioshock 1 is like a genuine work of art. And I think Bioshock Infinite is a great game. It plays good, looks good, the story is fine, but I can't help but compare it to its older brother. And I just don't think it lives up. Like the setting's not as good. And I don't think the plot twist at the end is as good either.
and like it's polished. It's like an AI rendering of a work of art. It's like we had the Mona Lisa, and then AI did it a little better, a little bit more crisp, a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's
Fuck
like,
yeah.
yeah, but I've seen the Mona Lisa. I'm that was the first thing, and someone worked on that really hard. Whereas this feels like, I don't know. And I'm
Like,
not like I loved this game. Like
me too. Like,
when
I'm
it
not
came
trying to
out,
say it's
when it
bad. Like,
yeah, when it came out, I wrapped it, played it again, played it again. Like I loved this game. I'm not like I'm not poo-pooing on it. I'm just if you hold it up to the other two BioShocks, I'm like, yeah, I fucking love Rapture way more. I'd rather
yeah.
go to Rapture than to the sky to Columbia.
So, um, so you play as Booker in this one, and I will say that like I like Booker more. Like I like that I have an actual character with an actual backstory, and
Well, and
like
he
the
says
whole back.
stuff. You have lines. Like your
Yeah,
character says stuff throughout the story, so it helps progress. It's an easier vehicle for telling a story. Like definitely easier instead of
totally.
having the nameless, silent protagonist.
And the whole point of like this one is Booker goes to this city, Columbia, up in the sky, and he needs to find this girl, Elizabeth, and it's because he's run up a big debt, and he needs Elizabeth to settle his debt. Like that's why he's up there.
Yeah, he works
And
for like the Pinkerton agency or some kind of PI like detective thing, and he's trying
yeah,
to. Elizabeth is a job for him, like
yeah,
finding this Elizabeth and bringing her back, and like it ties into the story later where he lies to her and says, "Yeah, I'll take you to Paris," and they get it. They've almost escaped Colombia, and then they get drawn back in.
yeah. And I like that, and then I like at the very beginning, like when I was replaying it, I was like, man, the beginning is kind of slow. I'm like, it's a while without any combat. You're walking around, you're exploring this town, and you're exploring this carnival and everything. And then you end up like coming up to that lottery thing where you win the lottery. And then, anyway, the long and short of it is they discover the mark on the back of your hand. You have these like they look like they've been burned onto your hand. It's AD. And then they realize that that is what they've been saying this like false prophet is going to show up with. And it's like the mark. And now you become the villain and now everybody starts attacking you. And I'll give them credit. Like when I say that I don't like the setting and stuff as well, I don't. And I didn't like the ending as well. But the actual story throughout the game, I actually at times at least found it more intriguing because I'm like, why am I after this girl? Like, who are these two weird fucking British people that keep popping up and talking to me? Like, why does everyone suck this Comstock's dick? Like, why are all these other people showing up that seem to know who I am when I've never been to this fucking city before? And
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
intrigued by everything as I'm playing through the game, particularly Elizabeth and your relationship with her, which we'll get into. And then at the very end, I everything even makes sense, but I just was like, I don't know. It's so I don't know how to say it, dude, because like it's a twist, and I didn't predict it, and I didn't see it coming because I didn't remember how this game ended. So like all of that was great, but I was just like, it wasn't as good as would you kindly? Like it was like it
Exactly.
still
It
was
was it
good. It
just
just
it fell short, and it was like oh man, it's good. And like you said, the storytelling, like I love the vox populi. I love it's kind of they took on some like civil rights issues in the game, but it's era appropriate. Like stuff was starting to really percolate in the States about that. And so you have like a class war, which that's great because you and me are both low class, so having a
Yeah.
class war
I'm
and
so
then
low class. Shaylee brings me up to low class. I'm
well,
fucking that low.
she's white collar. She's middle class. She's dragging you along.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. I'm a trophy husband for sure. And it's like a participant ribbon of a trophy, but it's a fucking trophy nonetheless.
Yeah, it's the little
Uh,
league trophy. Like, hey,
but
you
yeah,
showed up.
exactly. But that's one of those things where I got a little bit lost too, is like they actually reference like things that actually happened, right? Like Wounded Knee and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
like
before
Booker fought at Wounded Knee. Like that's what gives him. I don't know if he has PTSD, but his like, violent background and led him into being a detective. So a lot of his like skill set, why he's able to basically fight his way through an entire zealot police force, is because he was a soldier during Wounded Knee. Like he was a
right.
legit fucking frontier soldier.
And that's one of those things where like I know some of you are gonna be like, ah, rabble, rabble, but like A, we don't learn a ton about American history in Canada. B, I've been out of high school for 25 years. C, I was not a great student in high school.
Thus
So
the
like
podcast.
yeah, hence why I do this what I do. So like I know like the name Wounded Knee, but like I don't know a lot about the different events they're referencing in this game.
Yeah.
And it didn't take away from my enjoyment, but I feel like I might have comprehended the story a little bit better had I known a little bit more about what they were referencing.
Yeah,
know?
I could get behind that because like I'm not fluent in American history at all. I'm not fluent in anybody's history, not even our country's history,
Me
let alone
neither.
America.
No, me
But
neither.
people are like, yeah, you remember the revolution of like what? We had a revolution in this country? St. Lawrence River or something?
They drank a bunch of tea at a party or some shit. Yeah.
That's not even our country, but yeah,
I know.
we had a tea party too.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, like it didn't take away from my understand. Like it took away probably some of the depth I would have gotten out of the game. But I think they do a great job because as you play through, you find all those like little slideshow machines you can look
Yeah.
into that teach you like the history of Colombia and stuff like that. And while I didn't fully appreciate all the real world like the events they tied into and stuff, I did enjoy like just learning about like why Colombia broke up from the US and was like, we're going out on our own and why these people went up. And then obviously like Comstock is such a like again, it's so hard because you got to compare him to Andrew Ryan, and Andrew Ryan's so cool. But Comstock is a pretty cool character, and I'm like, why is this entire city sucking this guy's dick? Like, why does everybody worship this guy? But it's because he's just got them all brainwashed to worship him.
Yeah. And pretty early on you've kind of you hear some characters talking about how he's a false prophet or like not a false prophet, but a self-proclaimed prophet. You're the false prophet, but the self-proclaimed prophet, like the Vox definitely are not fans of him. And they,
Yeah,
they're questioning his power structure and everything like that. And you like, he's a very charismatic leader, even though it's like mega religious, you know, whatever, his own kind of religion, I guess. But like Andrew Ryan kind of has the same thing going for him that Mr. House in the Fallout series has. Like it's just the mystique of being the man behind the monitor. Like it's just like you hear about him and everybody talks about how he's this like super genius and that he create, it just feels more mysterious where you like interact with Comstock.
yeah.
So
But that's where shit got like that's where it really gets crazy to me because like so the first like third of the game you go to Colombia, they find out you're the false prophet, Comstock's in charge, and there's like a vocal group that hates Comstock, but most people don't. They worship him. That's why everybody's trying to kill you, which is why I get to do all the shooting, which we'll talk about. And then you finally find Elizabeth, and then there's this part where you end up going through one of Elizabeth's tears, like where she's opening these portals.
So and
And
just
then
what
Go
Elizabeth
ahead.
has this unique power where she can create like rips in space and time. And that's
Yeah,
one of the things that's unique to Columbus is that they just these tears are like not commonplace but are known to the people of Columbus. Like this is a thing that is specific to Columbia. Columbia. No, sorry, not
Columbia.
Columbus.
Yeah. And so like where to me where the plot really kicks it into like second gear is you go through this one tear and then all of a sudden you're talking to the Vox and you're talking to and they're like calling you a martyr and being like Booker DeWitt died and like we used like we're fighting for him and shit, and I'm like, when the fuck did I die? And again, like I didn't remember anything about this game and the plot and how it worked. And I was of the thought of like, so like am I playing the game like am I dead? I was like, am I like, did I die in that crash or some shit? Like what the fuck happened? Like did
Y-
she kill me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
I'm
and like that moment, she is Elizabeth. It's like when you were about to escape, and then she she like
yeah, yeah,
finds out
yeah.
she finds out you're not taking her to Paris. She hits you over the head, knocks you out, and you wake up and your airship's crashing and you're back in, and then you start going through tears and ripping through the yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I got to be honest. Like, and I know some will disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't dislike the tear plot, but like that is where I kind of started to get lost at one point in the game because I'm like, so because it's quite obvious early on that Elizabeth is Comstock's daughter,
Right.
but then it's like, is he not her daughter? Is he her daughter? Was she born by his wife that is dead? Was that his wife? And like, I don't know. Maybe I just am too dumb. Like maybe I wasn't paying enough attention. Like I was always into like the main plot of the game, which was basically get Elizabeth back to whoever to pay off this debt or whatever, get her off this fucking weird place and deal with Comstock. But as we're going through these tears and shit's hitting the fan, I gotta be honest, dude. Like, and I didn't have this problem in Bioshock 1 and 2. I found myself kind of lost. Like I thought and someone said it in the comments they wrote into the beginning, and I kind of agree with them. I think this story gets a little bit more layered and complex than it has to be, frankly.
Yeah, yeah.
Personally, I just like by the end, most of it made sense, but I was like, man, there's a lot fucking going on here. And I don't know. I don't know. I guess you know what? I guess at the end of the day, I don't like the tear system very much. I think that's where a lot of it ruins it for me. And that leads back to the twist at the end. And I just don't I just it's so stupid to say that like that's not realistic in a fucking world where I've already broken down all the other shit that isn't realistic. But I just don't like that plot mechanic as much. I still enjoyed playing the game, but I had such a hard time. And maybe that's by design. They want you to be confused and not be sure where you are and what part of time you're in and stuff like that. But I'm like, I have no fucking idea what the fuck is going on with these tears multiple times in this fucking game.
Yeah, I think they were trying to create aha moments where as you play the game, you get to you get that piece of information that reveals the last 2 hours where you're like, oh, it's a multiverse. And like multiverse, I'd say like Marvel really brought the idea of multiverse to the forefront in the general
Sure.
population. Like now, if I ask my parents, I was like, you guys know what the multiverse is? Oh yeah, that movie with Doctor Strange. Like they get it somewhat,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
in
Like,
2013 there wasn't Avengers whatever with a multiverse, and like so your general population wasn't like super fluent in the idea of like every decision is creating a multiverse and what that would look like if they converged in one kind of one timeline as you play through a multiverse scenario linearly. I can't say that fucking word, so I'm gonna give up. Play through it in a straightforward fashion.
like linen. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
I like I don't know, man. I guess I just like I love the idea of like you're fucking running away from the big daddies and stuff like that. And I
Mhm.
and then in this one, I'm like, I don't know. I
You didn't
don't
like
need
the
the plot
songbird?
to. I don't like. Well, I want to get. Oh, we'll get to Songbird. Songbird's fucking sick. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just like I don't need the plot to be as convoluted as it ends up being in this game. Like
Yeah.
there's one part where you're fucking talking to Elizabeth in the future and she's old and she gives you a thing to give to Elizabeth back in the past to give back to her. And I'm like, I get that this is old Elizabeth giving me something to give back to young Elizabeth, but that I'm like, so is Comstock young or old or what the fuck is going on? And it really and maybe that's by design. It isn't until the very end of the game that it all kind of makes sense. But I'm one of those people that like if I'm watching a movie or a TV show and like something isn't making sense to me, I it will drive me to fucking distraction when it's one of those things where like at the very end it all makes sense, but it's like in the time being I feel like there's something I should know that I don't know because I missed it. And maybe you didn't miss it. Maybe they just don't expect you to know it yet. Do you know what I'm saying? But like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching and I'm trying to be like, what the fuck scene did I miss where all this would make sense to me? And I have to Dude, I'm playing this game. I know I'm sounding so negative. I'm sorry, but I'm dumb and it fucking confused me. I have the Bioshock Infinite wiki up on my phone as I'm playing the game, and I'm trying to like literally one sentence at a time read along as I finish things so I don't spoil anything for myself, but I'm trying to make it make sense. And then at the very end, I'm like, oh, now I see. But it just like maybe it took away from my enjoyment of my playthrough because I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for the fucking pieces to fall into place for this to make sense for me. And it's a personal preference, but that kind of shit drives me fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whereas Bioshock 1's, sorry to rant, but Bioshock 1's twist was like the whole game made sense. We're working with this dude and we're stopping fucking Andrew Ryan. And then at the end, we find out that like we've been getting played. And I'm like, okay, like that's the twist. Like, give me one story that makes sense, and then bam, suddenly that story's not the story anymore. Instead of like, here's 9 fucking stories, all kind of interwound through space and time with a giant bird trying to kill you, and at the very end, we'll explain what the fuck was happening.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah. You summed
I
it up
didn't mean to-
nicely. You summed it up nicely.
Thank you. I just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, because like when I was done, I'm like, okay, now it all makes sense. But I don't know.
But it's a long path of being in the dark, which is frustrating. Like I empathize with your opinion full-heartedly.
But at the same time, I give them credit. Like, I respect them trying something different, right? Because they did Bioshock 1, and then they did Bioshock 2, which I thought was fine but inferior to 1. And I appreciate that they tried to do something. And for the record, I mentioned in the preview or in the intro, I will talk about the DLC twist at the end as well. But I appreciate that they tried to do something different with Bioshock Infinite, and that's why I'm like, it's not a bad game. Like, I'm totally down with them trying to tell a different story and go to a different setting. But it's just like, I quite frankly, without the DLC, which really ties it into the first 2 games, I was like, you didn't even have to call this Bioshock, in my opinion. Like, you put it on the cover because it would sell more games, but all it was a first-person shooter with a magical potion hand in a weird world.
Well, and so like Bioshock is a spiritual successor to System Shock and System Shock 2, which were PC first-person shooters that play very similarly, but you're in space. Like, you're in space for System Shock.
Right,
You're fighting
right.
zombies on a spaceship and shit like that. I don't remember System Shock very clearly. Like, I think I played that when I was 12 on PC or 14 or something. So like, I didn't even read what was going on. They didn't have voice actors or anything like that. But they could have called this Sky Shock. It didn't have to be Bioshock. It could have been a spiritual successor to the franchise. But it is so far removed from the story. And like, maybe it ties it in more. I didn't play the DLC, so I'm really excited to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you about it. Like, for all of you that were up my ass to play the DLC, I get why you wanted to now. And for the record, yeah, like, there is a little bit of this game where you do end up going through a tear and end up going to Rapture. But like, again, it just, I don't know.
That just feels like a nod, though. It just feels like,
does.
yeah, we're acknowledging that we, that we're part of this franchise. Like the Kenneth M. Levine, he worked on System Shock 2 and then is like the guy behind Bioshock, right? Like he didn't have to do that. He could have just called it something else. Like he's, he didn't work on Bioshock 2. I feel like that was a different designer, but like, he could have called it something else. He could have just had it be like, listen, this is my style of game development. I like, RPG type shooters that have really great in-depth storylines. He could have just done that, had it be part of the Shock series and not necessarily be tied in specifically.
Yeah, they could have been like standalone games in this series, like Black Mirror type shit. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, listen, I want to let the break in. I feel like I've been harder than I intended to be on this game because like I do like it. We still got to talk about the gameplay. We got to talk about Songbird. We got to talk about Elizabeth. We got to talk about the ending. I want to tell you about the DLC. So let's let a sponsor in here, assuming I was able to sucker someone into paying money to be on this fucking train wreck. And then when we come back, we'll tackle all the things I just said. So remember, the game will return after these messages.
In a city where chaos rules, only one man can save humanity from total destruction. It's up to Homer Simpson and family to save the world from a diabolical plot as they run and drive to unravel the conspiracy.
Blackfinch!
Critics call it the best Simpsons game ever.
Get the Lord, dude.
The Simpsons Hit and Run, rated T for teen.
I am evil Homer.
Okay, so before we get into like the actual gameplay and the shooting and stuff like that, like we have to talk about Elizabeth. I'll just go out on a limb right now and say quite possibly my favorite like escorting NPC of all time. Like, I love that girl. I can't imagine you play Bioshock Infinite and not love Elizabeth.
Nah,
She's
the
fantastic.
she's the goat of the game.
She is like, she's everything Ashley from Resident Evil 4 wishes she was. Like Ashley is the most annoying bitch, and I don't want to save her. Whereas you never have to protect Elizabeth. She's always out of trouble. While you're fighting, she's throwing you money, she's throwing you ammo, she's throwing you health, she's throwing you salt. Booker over here. She's picking locks for you. She's obviously the linchpin of the fucking story. I just and I don't know the name of the voice actress that voices her because I don't know anything about anything, but she does a phenomenal job just making you care about this character. Like Elizabeth is the fucking shit, man. I love this girl so much. That's all. I had to give her, like, I just think she's fucking awesome. I really like Elizabeth. I like her more than anyone else in this game by a mile and a half.
She's voiced by Courtney Draper.
There you go. Shout out to Courtney Draper.
Yeah.
No, she's fantastic.
Who she does, and Courtney does like a ton of video game voice stuff. She's in a couple movies, but she's in tons of video games.
The only thing about Elizabeth is that, like, I don't know, I guess it makes sense, but you have like this part at the beginning where you're like breaking her out of the tower, and then she wants to go to Paris, and you convince her you're going to Paris. Then she realizes you're going to New York because you're a fucking gambling bitch and you got to pay your debts. And then she's like, fuck you, I don't want to be your friend anymore. But then she joins you again later because she has to, but she's like, I don't like you. Then all of a sudden she likes you again. And it's just like, I'm like, come on, like, do you like me or do you not like me? Like, make up your mind here, you know? But that's not even a complaint. I'm just saying, like, she just, it's like she can't decide if she wants to be on your team or not.
Yeah, just like having a child. Like they
yeah, no
can't
kidding.
decide if they like you or not.
But then, like, as you're playing through the game and you're learning more about like her backstory, like, it's so obvious she's Comstock's daughter, like, right away.
Yep.
And then we have to go do the whole thing with her mom's grave and her mom's ghost that you're fighting. I found those to be the most frustrating fights in the fucking game. Fighting her fucking that goddamn mother ghost. Ah, God, if my mom ever dies and then comes back and tries to fight me, I'm going to lose. Because mom ghosts are just fucking brutal. Fucking brutal.
Man, I couldn't beat my mom in real life.
No kidding.
If she was a ghost.
They got mom strength. They're fucking bananas. But I like that part went on for a long time, and I didn't hate that. But like at the end of the day, I'm cheering for Elizabeth far more than I'm cheering for Booker. Like, I agree with you. It's nice to have an actual character and have Booker telling their story and everything like that. But I was like, I never find myself cheering for this fucking guy because you're going and fighting these like old war vets that are talking about what a fucking psycho Booker is. He's killing everybody. Elizabeth's fucking scared of him. I'm like, Elizabeth's the one I'm cheering for.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to bring that up when we talk about the weapons, is that it's freaking crazy when when you first when it first switches and they like see the marking on your hand and decide you're the false prophet and everybody turns on you. You use a skyhook and you like snap someone's neck. The rotary bit that lets you travel on the zip lines or whatever. You put that in someone's face and just
buddy,
it's wildly violent right out of the gate.
I know. I found this one. I mean, I guess I never really thought about how violent the other two are as well, with like the slicers and the splicers and shit like that. But like this one, like when you do the melee deaths to people with that fucking skyhook, like it's gory.
And that's your intro to combat. Like, it is right off the bat. Like, get ready. Yeah. You're a war vet who doesn't give a crap.
Yeah. And then once you start picking up guns and you start picking up powers, then it becomes the classic Bioshock combat, shooting and zapping. One of the things that I found a lot of people were mixed opinions on online was that you can only carry 2 guns in this one, as opposed to having like your big wheel of guns.
Yeah.
And I can't decide if I never found it to be an issue, really. But I can't. The only issue I had with it was I would come across the vending machines. I appreciate a lady who appreciates value. I fucking love that. I love that.
That's one of the highlights to all of the Bioshock.
100 billion%. Yeah, 100 billion%.
Hey, buddy, come back when you got some money.
Come back when you got some money, buddy. Yeah, that's the fucking I hate that they took away the little hacking mini game in this one, but whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. but like I would come across these machines where I could pay money to upgrade my weapons, and I found that like a more difficult choice because I was like, I never know which weapons I'm going to be carrying because you're not always carrying like all your weapons. But on the other hand, I'm like, it adds a little bit more depth to the gameplay when you need to constantly be picking up new weapons like you would in most shooters because you're running out of weapons. So I was like, fuck, I can't decide if I like the two gun system or not. Like I do, but I can't decide if I like it more or less than just having a big spinning wheel of guns in my ass.
Well, and the total amount it takes of Silver Eagles to upgrade all the weapons, you need 21,984 Silver Eagles. Yeah, right. I will
Yeah.
never find that much money in any video game unless the currency in the video game starts out at $10,000 bills.
Fucking goddamn. God help you. Listen, I keep in mind that I just spent 5 minutes blowing smoke up Elizabeth's ass. God help you if you miss $1 when you're cleaning up an area. Hey, Booker, I found some money. Catch. Hey, Booker, look, I missed some money. Catch. Hey, Booker, you want this money? Catch. And I was just like, for the love of Christ, just hand it to me all at once. Like,
Yeah.
stop throwing dollars at me. Fuck
Hey,
me.
Booker, you want this money? Listen, bitch, I got debts to pay. If you're
Yeah, I
giving me
was like,
cash,
God
give me
damn
some
it.
cash.
But like, so that is the because like when you play the OG Bioshocks, right? You go to those machines where you can upgrade your weapons, but you always have all your weapons, and so it's like, well, which are the weapons I'm going to use? Those are the ones I'm going to upgrade. But in this one, like, I found myself, I always, if I found a shotgun, I was keeping it, and then the machine
Yeah,
gun was like my other base one. But
the
like,
the like I think they call it the machine gun because there's
there's a
also
machine gun, and then
there's
there's the
like a
Tommy gun.
yeah, and then the carbine. I
Yeah,
think there was like
there's
there was
like
like a there's
guns,
a
there's
lot
like a
lot of
ton.
guns in this one. There's an
And
RPG. You get a dang RPG.
I found myself kind of torn on like which ones to upgrade. So like on that side, I didn't like the two gun system, but then I found that like maybe I'm just maybe I'm just misremembering 1 and 2. I don't remember nearly as many segments where you're fighting like wave after wave of enemy. Like this felt like fucking
No,
Doom.
no, and
Like
there
at
wasn't
times.
there wasn't in 1 and 2. Not like in this. This you're fighting like a police force and an army. Like I think I can't remember. Do you fight the citizens right at the beginning? Like you fight a couple Colombian citizens, like
You
and
do
they
like at
kind of
some point.
turn
Yeah.
on you, but
Yeah.
that's like your Goombas or your, super weak villains or whatever, right? But then it's like the police force and they've got their billy clubs and their I think they have like the revolver or whatever it is that it's not a revolver, it's like a Moss pistol or something like that. I forget what they call it in the game. But it's like they have the pistol with a little magazine in it, whatever. And like a rifle maybe or a shotgun maybe. Like the police are pretty like if you have the possession they don't call them plasmids in this. What do they call
No,
it?
what did they call him in this one? I can't remember now either. Yeah, because I literally just finished playing it. But it's
Vigors,
same idea.
vigors or something like that.
Vigors. Yeah,
Vigor,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you don't have mana, you have salt. It's like, oh yeah.
Salt. Yeah.
All right, all right. But like if you have the possession vigor that like there's times where there's like an automated gun robot thing that you can possess and it'll just mow down like five guys and then another wave of five guys and another wave of five guys. It's awesome. Like
Yeah.
it is more wave based than the other two. Like the other two
Way more.
I don't think you
Like
ever face waves. You go to an area and there'll be like five villains in the area that you have to beat in the other
this
two.
one.
Whereas this
Yeah.
like more people show up constantly.
You'll kill a wave of enemies and then they like come bursting through the door and there's more and there's more. And so you're constantly like, fuck, I'm out of ammo in this gun. And like I found myself in multiple instances scrambling around just trying to find a gun laying on the floor with some ammo in it that I
And
could
you
pick
can
up and fucking use. And I like that because I found it so much more engaging as far as the combat went, you know? Like
yeah.
I enjoyed the combat waves in this one.
Yeah, and
Um,
like if you run out of ammo, you can use your skyhook and just like brutally massacre people. But
Yeah, yeah. And then the other really cool thing about the combat in this one goes back to Elizabeth. Not only is she throwing ammo and throwing salt and throwing health at you during fights, which is really, really cool because she saved my ass a couple of times, but like she'll find tears where what they'll be is like, there'll be like a box of first aid kits that's in a tear. And you can yell at her to like, Elizabeth, make that appear. And she'll open that up and then you can use the first aid kits. But if you make that appear, then maybe the cover you're hiding behind disappears. And then it's like, Elizabeth, bring that cover back so you can go run under the like, and it adds another layer to the combat and makes her again. It's such a brilliant decision that you didn't have to keep her alive, like that she was just fine on her own. and then adding in that you can actually use her strategically to like make things appear and disappear. She can make like those fucking gun turrets appear and help you,
Yeah,
or those
it's awesome.
fucking mechanical patriots, those goddamn fucking mechanical patriots. Oh, I hate those. The fucking big George Washington looking motherfuckers where you
Hey,
gotta like get behind him and kill him. Those fucking things.
how do you think the Americans won the Civil War?
I
With their
imagine a bunch
George
of robotic
Washington
George
Patriot,
Washingtons. Yeah.
yeah, with their Patriot robots. Come on.
Fuck me. But that was where that, like you mentioned the vigors. I
Yeah,
will say too, I think the compared to the fuck,
plasmids.
the plasmids. I don't think they're as cool because like I think the plasmids in Bioshock, particularly even though I don't use it that often, the one where you can shoot the wasps at everybody is like the
Oh,
coolest thing in the world.
so good.
Th-
And they looked cool the way they look in your hand. Like
yeah,
the figures are they're cool, but yeah, the plasmids are cooler. And I like it goes back to the Art Deco. I like the plasmids, the little video on what it is, like that little like
me too. Yeah.
old 1910 style, like neighbor
Yeah.
giving you some trouble. Well, try that, and with the transatlantic accent, I love that. That's so
Yeah,
good.
right. Whereas in this one, when you find a new one, they just have a video come up and be like, hit the button to shoot fireballs. Hold the button to leave a firebomb for people to walk on. And it's like, I appreciate you explaining it, but that's not nearly as clever as the way they explained it the first time. Like the way they explained them in Bioshock almost makes them seem like they have practical use. Whereas in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one, they're clearly just weapons. That said, by far, the one I use the most in this one is one of the first ones you get. You can send a murder of crows.
That's what it's called too. That's
Oh,
awesome. That's awesome.
it
That one,
is
and I
so
like Bucking
badass.
Bronco too. Like I think that's the first one you get. It's one of the first ones you get where you can like create an earthquake and people fall down, and then just shoot them up.
I never really used that one. I used the crows. I used possession,
Yeah,
and then I liked the one where you could use you could like have like a tentacle of an octopus, like grab them and fucking pull them to you. But I thought the crow one was like I upgraded the crow one every chance I got. I just thought that was so fucking badass. And then like because it was not you didn't have to aim it. Like you go into a room and if 5 or 6 enemies came running at you, you just send out a fucking giant murder of crows. And even if it didn't kill them all, it distracted them and gave you a chance to take them out or come up and use your fucking grappling hook to slice up their brains and shit like that.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think the one you're talking about is Undertow, where you send the
Yeah.
tentacle out. Yeah,
That's the one.
yeah,
I
that
like
one's
that
good.
one too.
Well, and
But
it's creative. That one was a creative one, right? Like I
yeah,
don't know.
but even that though, like, and I hate to keep doing this, but like I said, to me the biggest issue with this game is it's in its older brother Shadows. In the old 2 games, you didn't even get every plasmid. Like you could go buy them and had to choose which ones you wanted to buy and that kind. In this one, it's just like you have 8, you're gonna find them all.
Yeah,
You're probably gonna pick 3 you like, and those are the 3 you're gonna use.
yeah, yeah,
You
100%.
know, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they switched it from like picking and choosing plasmids to the guns, right? Like that's where you were making choices. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not finding $21,000 in this game, so
No, no,
I
not
was picking my favorite guns,
I
and
didn't
you could
even
only carry 2. So
yeah, I didn't even find myself using the vending machines that often outside of like buying upgrades for my weapons or occasionally stocking up on ammo.
yeah, because your
Like
girl Elizabeth was taking care of you
she
because
like
she's the
which they
MVP.
designed it that way. Like I assume it was like a conscious decision for them to like this one is going to be more of like a fucking wave-ish like it's going to be waves of enemies. It's going to be more of a run and gun like yeah, like I felt frankly like it was less strategic. It was like run and gun. It felt like playing Doom, which is fine. I like Doom.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
definitely.
just not the same thing. So, one other plot thing, 2 other plot things I wanted to talk about. Elizabeth, this whole game is like talking about her fingertip and showing off that she's missing part of her finger.
Yeah, she's got a
And
thimble on it, right? Like she wears a
yeah,
little cap on it or
yeah.
whatever.
And I gotta be honest, and again, I've already warned y'all like 10 times. Spoilers are coming. The entire game, I figured the reason she had that was because they cut her finger off, and that was the source of her powers to like make her tears.
Yeah. Oh
And
wow, good insight.
And it
Sort of.
turned out kind of, right? Because it did turn out that her finger was why she could make tears, but it's not because like Comstock intentionally cut her finger off or something and gave her these powers. And that goes back to like the whole twist ending
Yeah.
where as a baby, Anna,
Yeah, Booker's baby, Anna.
hence the AD tattoo, Anna DeWitt,
Yeah.
is being handed through this portal, and you try to take her back at the last second, and her finger gets severed, leaving a part back in the old, like where she was, a part where she is now. and that gives her the. I don't really know if they explain why, but that's basically why she can make tears.
Yeah, because she has part of herself in two realities. So then
Yeah, but like
she
I don't.
that I don't know why that gives you the
That's what I
ability to
mean. I
create
just don't get
tears.
how that does. But all right. It like I'm like that makes sense. Okay, fair enough. Uh, and that was like that's part of like the whole big twist ending is that it turns out that like Booker and maybe I'm misunderstanding this. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. But Booker is Comstock.
Yep.
Like he became Comstock after he wanted to wash away the sins of all of his wars and everything.
Yeah, it's after the Battle of Wounded Knee. He gets baptized. And so in one reality, because that's where this gets really convoluted because it's multiple realities. So the reality where like you're Booker and playing the straightforward aspect of the game. I was trying to say that word again, but it's a $10 word and I'm a $2 kind of guy.
That'd be
Um, your Booker who was baptized, that this is your like path to becoming Comstock. Whereas like in another reality, you don't get baptized. Oh, I might be mixing that up. You might be the Booker that is part of the reality that didn't get baptized, and so you become a PI. In another reality, you get baptized, you become Comstock. And there's this multitude of realities from that two decisions and like the Comstock, um, but if you become Comstock, you're sterile from the use of the tears or something. Like there's some kind of
he's like old, like he aged because of using them.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they like wore
Whereas
him
when
out.
and so you're sterile, but you want a daughter because you have the knowledge of your other whatever. So you basically buy Booker's daughter.
Yeah. Which is
Or s-
crazy. So you gave away your daughter to you
yeah,
and then in that process severed her fingers so she could connect the world. Like I get
yeah,
it kind of, but I agree with the person that said it. It felt like they were just trying to put a big plot twist for the sake of a big plot twist.
yeah,
And I got to be honest, like I'm a little bit disappointed that there's only one ending. That like there's not multiple endings. One where like you agree to be Comstock and run Columbia, one where you're Booker
yeah,
the fucking martyr, like you just drown. You let them drown you, all the Elizabeths drown you,
yeah.
and
So
then
at
as
the
you're
end of the
drowning, all
game,
the Elizabeths fade away.
yeah, so at the end of the game, that's basically instead of choosing to be baptized or not baptized, creating kind of this loop, this time loop within multiple realities or whatever, you beckon Elizabeth to drown you, and when she drowns you, the alternate realities cease to exist. Like you just
Yeah.
see, and that's what the Elizabeth's disappearing. It's like all the alternates are disappearing. You didn't create this, whatever. I feel like Einstein would have explained this really well and been like, "This is
Yeah,
bullshit. This is not
exactly.
how
Yeah.
this works, you mother."
And I'm fine with that. Like I'm fine with that ending. Like I did enjoy the twist
Mhm.
where it turns out you are Comstock. I actually enjoyed that. I thought that
I
was cool.
and it's great too because Comstock knows it. Comstock
Yeah.
knows he's Booker. Like he knows who Booker is the whole time. That's why there's the false prophet and everything. And so that's like one of the aha moments. That's one of the like, ah,
That's
oh,
why he wanted to stop you because you are him. Like I
yeah.
get it. That was
And he knew
cool.
you were coming. Like
I
it's really good. I like that twist. But like you said, it you get these aha moments throughout the game, and the big twist at the end doesn't feel like a big twist. It doesn't feel it feels shallow compared to Bioshock 1. That twist was like shocking. And
yeah.
it's like putting twists in for the sake of twists. Like if you've ever watched a long running TV series where like the first season had a big twist and then the next season ends on a big twist and the next season ends, you get fatigued from it. Like it's just like all right, whatever. I see the formula.
Yeah. Like I and then I gotta be honest, man. Like just like so the two the two British folk that are like always popping up and giving you advice, like they have their own little story. I still don't fully understand their story, if I'm being honest. I guess I get why Anna is Elizabeth, who is Booker's daughter, who is Comstock. I guess I understand why they go to Rapture for a short time and all these kinds of things. But that's all I'm trying to say is it just, and I know some will disagree with me. And like, I like the game. It was fun to play. I'm going to give it a good score at the end. But I just feel like they made this story too many layers that didn't need to. Like, if the story had literally, like, if the big plot twist has simply been that the reason Anna could open these things were because you gave her away and their finger got cut off, and like it would have been fine. If the plot had just like if the twist had been that Booker is Comstock is Booker, it's like it would have been fine. But when you try to throw in like 8 of them, I don't know. I just like by the end, I was like, that was good, but I was like, there was a lot. I feel like it was like this podcast where I was like, there was a lot fucking going on there, man. Like I was like, fucking pick a lane, like I personal preference. I just didn't like that as much. If I'm being honest, I just didn't like it as much. And then on top of all that, to not even have multiple endings kind of irritates me. I feel like I've been way harder on this game than I intended to be when I came in here. But I don't know. Those are all the things that irritate me. I'm an irritable man.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, oh yeah, and then you mentioned it earlier. You don't get Big Daddies in this one, and those Mechanical Patriots can't replace Big Daddies. But I will
No.
say, I think Songbird is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, like top tier villain. Love Songbird. I miss the Big Daddies. Like they were iconic in their imagery. Like you didn't after this game came out, there weren't like Bioshock Infinite shirts with songbirds on them. But I bet you could look up on like a t-shirt printing company or whatever. If you looked up like Bioshock, you'll see a Big Daddy and a little sister. Hands down, bar none. Like that's an iconic image that has like, whatever disc plate and like, anything that makes posters. Like that's just one of those things that'll continue to resurface and people will be like, oh yeah, that's so great, right?
Now that said, though, if they had tried to shoehorn in Big Dad, like a Columbia version of Big Daddies, it would have been so forced.
Yeah, it
Like
wouldn't have worked.
I'm actually like that's what I'm trying. Like I'm giving Songbird its flowers. This giant badass fucking bird that's scary as fuck that attacks you over and over because it's trying to protect Elizabeth. And then at the very end of the game, you get to use it like on your side to take out ships and shit in this like big final fight. That bird's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. Songbird's fucking sick.
Yeah, I think one of the best aspects of this game.
Yeah, 100%. If anything, I wish it showed up more because the
Yeah.
parts where you're running away from it and stuff are fucking intense, man.
Oh, like the first time in the tower where it's banging around on the outside and flies by the window, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. So I am gonna get into the DLC quickly, but I'm just like the game looks good. I enjoy the combat. I can't say I enjoy the combat more than the OG, but not less. It's just a different flavor. I like it the same, I think.
Yeah, it's because it is very much the same. Like it feels good. It feels familiar. I don't have anything negative to say about the combat. I loved it. Like,
Yeah, it's fun.
and it flows nicely.
There's a lot of waves of it, but again, that's where I think the 2-gun system worked because I was constantly on my toes. Like I felt like there was more strategy to like. I feel like the combat in Bioshock, the strategy is basically just shoot them all and let God sort them out.
Yeah,
Whereas in this one, unless you're fighting a Big Daddy, you got to sneak around. Whereas in this one, it was like I only have 2 guns. I have a limited amount of ammo. I don't have nearly as crazy magical powers as I had in that one. I need Elizabeth to be opening tears. You're using the skylines for like to get away from shit and stuff. And I enjoyed it. I put the combat on par. I really liked it. I think the game looks good. I do think it tries to tell a good story. It's a story that I found a little bit convoluted, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad one. I'm genuinely of the thought that maybe I'm just too dumb to fully enjoy the story as much as some did. But it was okay.
We'll not say dumb. We'll say unlearned.
Unlearned. The game is incredibly well voice acted. Like I don't have a lot of like if it seems like I'm being hard on it, I'm not trying to be. I just don't think it's as good as the other ones, but that doesn't make it bad. It was a fun game.
Yeah, if they were to make a Bioshock movie, I'd want them to start with this one and then do the original Bioshock, like going to Rapture as a second movie, and then have this one be the first one. And that like one time you go to in the main game, the one time you go to Rapture, being like, here's a teaser of what's coming out. Like I think that's the way to do it. You set up this universe with this game, and then you go to Rapture after. Hell yeah, that would be the way to do it. In my mind, I'm not a sophisticated gentleman either. Unlearned, one might say.
All right. I like it. All right. So one other thing I have to bring up is the Buried at Sea DLC, the Burial at Sea DLC that everyone was on me to play. I didn't play the one that was just like a bunch of like waves of enemies. I played the 2 story ones. And I get now why everybody was on me to play them. So again, spoilers, Tyler, I'm spoiling them for you. I'm
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
spoiled.
I never played them back in the day.
Okay.
That's where you learn more about like the Ludus or whatever, however you say that, the like Robert and Rosalind,
Well, it just like
the twins,
it
like the
it
two twins that are
ties
helping you.
partially, yeah. Like it really ties them into the original game. So like in the first part, you start out playing as Booker, but Booker is an investigator who lives in You don't realize it at first. You live in Rapture, and then when you walk out of your office, you're like, "Holy fuck, I'm in Rapture!" And Elizabeth comes to your office trying to get you to help find a little girl. And what it ends up being is you find out that Comstock was so like sickened by what happened in Colombia that he had those twins open a tear to send him to Rapture. And that's where he went back to being Booker DeWitt, living as a detective in Rapture.
Oh, sick.
And then Elizabeth comes there to like confront him about it. And then you realize, because at first Booker doesn't realize he was Comstock, and then it all kind of starts to come back to him.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the first part, right as he tries to tell Elizabeth, like, I'm so sorry about everything that happened and everything, a big daddy kills him. And that's the end of part one. Is
Hell
like,
yeah.
and then in part two, you actually get to play as Elizabeth. And Atlas is there, and he has kidnapped this little girl who you hired Booker to help you find in the first part. And you're like all locked in like this fucking department store at the bottom of fucking Rapture. And like that's where Andrew Ryan sent Fontaine and all of his like goons, like as like a like jail basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're there as Elizabeth, and you basically have to like you find out like you find like these science things there, and you find out that like this guy was helping build like Songbird and was like helping them work on Columbia and everything. And
Oh, yeah.
basically, if you want to get the little girl back from Atlas, you need to help him. You have to help him and his group like escape the Fontaine building and get back up to Rapture, where they can overthrow Andrew Ryan. And Atlas is on you to get him this like secret code. They call it the ace in the hole, this secret code. And what you end up finding out right at the end of the extra DLC is that the ace in the hole is the phrase "would you kindly." And so you
Oh.
give the phrase "would you kindly" to Atlas, and then Atlas makes the arrangements for Jack in the first Bioshock to come there. He kills Elizabeth. And then Jack comes to Rapture, and then it picks up basically at the beginning of the game, beginning of
Oh.
Bioshock 1. And I was like, when I played that, I was like, all right, I understand why everybody was fucking blowing smoke up this DLC's ass now. Because
Yeah.
now I was like, what? This should have, if I'm being honest, like that should have been the ending of Bioshock 1, like Infinite. I was like, I feel like
that's
they released
killer.
I feel like they released Infinite and then came up with this better idea, and we're like, let's make that as DLC.
Yeah,
So-
that's amazing. Oh man, I'm going to play the expansion,
It's really good.
the DLC.
The only gripe I had with it was that the part 2 where you play as Elizabeth, it's much more like survival horror sneaking around than it is just like run and gun. And stealth is like the bane of my existence. But it was still really fun. I was intrigued by the story the whole way through. And like to literally find out that like, so the woman Elizabeth that gave Atlas the "would you kindly" phrase that he used to set off the events to overthrow Andrew Ryan in the original Bioshock, she was in Bioshock Infinite, then went to Bioshock 1 and set in event those actions. And you find out that the scientists like in Rapture were working on stuff for Columbia because they were going through the tears and things, and it's complicated again, but it was fucking sick. It was fucking really cool.
That sounds
really
awesome.
good DLC. If I'm being honest, like I would give the story of that is better than the story of Bioshock Infinite, in my opinion. But the gameplay wasn't quite as good. So this has been a fucking all over the place episode, but this fucking game's plot is all over the fucking place, guys. Maybe some of you understand it better than me, and that's why I'm harder on it than you. I do really like playing it. I just don't fully know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
mean,
point.
I feel
But
like
it's
when you're
fun.
playing Mario, you also don't know what's going on. So
Yeah, fair enough. And you know what? I think it was last week's episode was Mega Man 5, and I think I said the same thing in that episode. Mega Man 5 is probably my least favorite of the 6 NES Mega Mans, but that doesn't make it bad. But it's a series you love. I love the Mass Effect games. Mass Effect 1's my least favorite. I love the Bioshock games, but Bioshock Infinite is my least favorite. That doesn't make it bad.
No,
One of them's got to be at the bottom. You
yeah,
know,
like
like
cannot stress this enough that it's an amazing game and everyone should play it at least once. And it's perfect for the franchise for what it is. But you're always going to have a top and a bottom when you have a 3-game franchise like this. Like there's always going to be one that you love a lot more or a little bit more. And like I like the thing that tipped it over the edge was the background. Like I love the art deco of the first 2 BioShocks. Like it's literally I like art deco more than steampunk.
yeah, I
The
agree. I agree.
the story in BioShock Infinite is like amazing, amazing. The gameplay is amazing. The graphics are amazing. The concept is wildly creative. Like I'm not coming up with anything like that. You know?
No, like I think all 3 of these games are works of art. Like I there's a reason that I have been pumping the BioShock franchise's tires for years on this show, trying to get people to play it. Some of you wrote in saying that's when you started playing it, which warms my heart because I do feel these are like must play games and I think everybody should play them. I respect that they tried to do something a little bit different with this one, and I think parts of it worked. Like, make no mistake, dude. Like, we know Bioshock 4 is in development. It's been in development for like 500 fucking years. Whenever that game comes out, like, it is the day one. Like, I am playing that fucking game. I don't think there's a bad entry in the series. I just personally, this one, I think that's all it boils down to. An hour and 3 minutes later, I like Rapture more than Columbia, like you said. Like that's really all it boils down to. You know, like it's take me back to Rapture. But
now the DLC might have changed my opinion. Like
the DLC is really fucking good, man. Like
that 100% might change my opinion.
I get why so many of you told me to play it now. It's fucking really good. Okay, we got to score this thing. We got to wrap this thing up. I was going to suggest 1912.
Yeah, sure.
Because that's where you go back. That's when you end up in Columbia. Do the honors out of 1912.
I'm going to give it a I'm thinking hard on it. Like I loved everything about it. I'm gonna give it an 1893.
Oh, it's a good score.
It's also when Booker awakens in his apartment at the end of the game.
I wish I could remember what I gave Bioshock 1 and 2. Because, like, if I give it a higher score than them, then I know someone's going to be like, you fucking idiot. You said it was your least favorite. You gave it a higher score. And I'm like, the scores, this is literally whose line is it anyways? The points don't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd probably give it like, I'll give it 1812 out of 1912. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. It's a really good game. Like, it's a really good game.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And like the episode, like it sounds like we've been crapping on the game the whole time. We're just comparing it to games like in the franchise that we liked better and continue to say like this game was amazing. It looks good. It plays well. It has awesome mechanics. Like it's an amazing game. But when you hold it up to in its franchise, it's like I like the first one better, but it's still amazing. Like I can't stress that enough. Like I'm gonna go download the freaking DLC after we're done talking about this.
I just didn't get as confused by the other ones. So
yeah.
But it was good. It's good. It's really fun.
Old man yells at clouds.
Old man literally yells at clouds because this game takes place in the cloud. I literally yell at the clouds. Play them, guys. Play the Bioshock games. They're and I will say, I think 2K is doing fine, but don't ever pay full price for this collection. The Bioshock collection goes on sale for like pennies on the dollar, like literally every 3 days. So like just get it for like $10 when it's on sale. Play all 3 of them, enjoy them. They're all great. They're all must plays. They're all great fucking games.
Yeah, visually stunning, atmospheric, like just so creative. There's such a cool like noir style action shooter game. Like you're a detective figuring out this mystery. I don't know what Jack is. He's not a sailor or anything. They never really allude to what you are. You just show up in Rapture and you're like, you show up at a lighthouse and you end up in Rapture and you're like, oh shit, okay. We're on an adventure.
Yeah. But which was awesome. But but then at the end they explain there's a reason for it and everything. So
yeah.
All right, Tyler. Bioshock is done. We did it until Bioshock 4 eventually. I know I'll have you back on here sometime in the next 6 weeks or so to talk some Gears 3 before Gears of War E-Day, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, so excited.
This is where I let you do all the hard work. Plug away. Anything you want to plug, go nuts.
Yeah, I I sent you a link to the next. It's a short film, but the next film I'm going to be in, it's for a different production company. I got like since doing Contamination, I've gotten a few things going, both with the Brimstone guys and with a new uh, uh, director in Edmonton who is part of this company called Born to Roll Films. I'm going to be starring in a short, which is just neat. Like I've been starring Contamination, so it's a little bit of a leap up for me. So we're doing crowdfunding for this short film we're doing. It's If Nothing Changes is the name of the project, and we're hoping to film in October and then probably be released a couple months after that. I imagine he wants to, like, I don't have control over where the project goes. I imagine it's going to go to film festivals, and then he's kind of trying to use it as a proof of concept to generate some buzz behind his idea. And I love the concept. I'm not going to disclose too much about it just yet because I don't have a lot of permission. I just have a lot of permission to promote the crowdfunding. And then Contamination, the film I was in, it is going to the International Motor Film Awards, which is like a pretty big, like of all the film festivals that Contamination went to, this is probably the biggest, the most prestigious. Like big films, like AAA films, go into this. It's any film, like I think the Fast and Furious films have done this. Some of the Mission Impossible, like any film that has had vehicles in it and highlights like vehicles ends up having or doesn't necessarily end up having a spot in there, but if you're lucky, you get a spot in there. So it's a cool thing. I think I get to go to LA for this too, so that's a neat thing. And then we're the Brimstone guys who did that film have a new short coming out. I don't know when it's coming out, but we're filming in September, and like we've got a grant for that, and so watch for that. And it's got big actors in it, like one of the guys from Sinners. He's in the opening of Sinners. He's going to be in it. He's a really prominent Canadian actor. Very cool. Like lots of cool film stuff coming up. So there will be a link to the crowdfunding, and then probably a link to my Instagram because that's where I post all of what's going on with film stuff.
Exactly. I can't say it better because I literally don't know enough about it. But the link you sent me for the crowdfund thing is in the description. Tyler's Instagram will be in the description. Go throw Tyler a follow. Show him some love.
Yeah, and I'll
and
post.
someday-
I post nonstop about the film stuff. It's pretty much like my kids and the film stuff. So
Yeah, and someday we'll be able to talk about when Tyler was on the show, when he's a fucking drugged up guy in Hollywood on the Walk of Fame. So
listen, I had him. Listen, this is the show. This is it. This is the
yeah.
peak. I'm not
That's
doing
true.
anything other than this.
yeah, Hollywood's gonna have to wait for us. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Buddy, appreciate you taking some time out of your Wednesday night as always, because I know you're a busy dude. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you in about 6 weeks about Gears of War 3.
Woo!
Let's go, buddy. And that is going to do it for this week's episode. Tyler, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking some Bioshock Infinite to wrap up the Bioshock trilogy. And every one of you nerds listening to this, whether it's your first RTG or your 384th, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I know there's a ton of retro gaming shows out there, and you went with us. Good for you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Tyler might not appreciate you, but I do. Tyler probably does too. Check out Tyler's projects. I know he's got some stuff to plug, but like I'm recording this before we chat, so I don't know what exactly it was. But if you want to support Tyler, check out the links in the description of this podcast. As always, the dude stays busy, and he's a friend of the show, a loyal friend of RTG, and we care about him around here. What else should I tell you to do? Leave us a good review, because I'm not supposed to ask for them. I'm not sure what they do, but I'll ask for them anyways. They offset the bad ones, if anything. Patreon, patreon.com/rememberthegame if you're interested. $3 a month is all it'll take to get you in the door, and that'll get you over 300 expansion passes, almost 300 game patches, and 384 Remember the Games ad-free, time-stamped, ready to go the minute you sign up. If you want to go to $5, then you'll also get 160 episodes of our Simpsons podcast, Purple Monkey Dishwasher, and over 200 episodes of my rambling podcast, The Rambling Idiot. Plus, I stream every Monday through Friday. I stream every day, every weekday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can check those out. You can join our Discord. You can vote on the games we cover. You can write into the show. You know how it works. And then we donate part of it to the ALS Society and the Stollery Children's Hospital at the end of the year because it makes me feel better about how little I contribute to society otherwise. So patreon.com/rememberthegame. Good review. Tyler stuff. I haven't been on Twitch lately at all. I'm sorry. I've been busy. I'm going to try. We're getting a new puppy tomorrow. Today. If this goes live on August 20th, we're getting a new puppy tonight. A little brother for Millie, George, the new CEO, because Millie didn't work out as the CEO. She was embezzling. So our new CEO, he's 2 months old. Pretty excited to pick him up. So I don't know if I'll be on Twitch this weekend because I'll probably be cleaning up puppy poop. But nonetheless, I get on there when I can. YouTube.com/rememberthegame. I got Let's Plays and stuff over there. I don't feel like plugging anything else, so I'm leaving. Gonna thank some Patreons and sign off. Thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Next episode, probably around Wednesday, Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land with me and my buddy Patrick. Should be a gooder. Take it easy, everyone. Talk to you on the next one. Cheers so long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreon. I couldn't puke up all the content I churn out of a week without all of your support. The following people are the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to thank them as quickly as I can. So a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famers, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Makeshift Battle Magic Money, Sharonic, Jane Nasty 15, Jork King Keegs, Dissect That Dan, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Wolfgang Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Dean Donian, Titan 420, Jeff Bergeron, Randy Barrett, Just a Fish, The Nye Mets, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black, Silver, 333, Chucker 22, Elijah Burns, Discount Psyop, Madam Nutsich, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dulk, Bitch Ass Brian, Dude Where's My Game, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Northern, Jake Carter, Biddy, LaShawsome Sauce, Growlywog, Dabs All Day, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westrich, Russia's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Gabe, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon Who Isn't a Surgeon Row, Retro Riders Podcast, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, High Plains Drifter, Timothy, Oroku Saki's Gardener, General Fury, Armin Tamzarian's Copy of Swank, Armin Tamzarian's Frozen Peas, Max Lagroom, James Juan Francesco, Drugs About MK, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude Walter, The Fletchman, Sleeper Hit, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Caveman Lance, Christian Gabriel, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, Lugnut, T-Bear 87, Maverick, Yellcam, Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monster SD, Boner, AB Killen Works for Me, Hooli Mild Oatmeal, Ryan Perry, Astro Shasta, Please Refrain from Tasting the Knob, Scotty J, Just Car Pranks, Zombie Exy, Bartman Forever, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee Wee Squitters, Beers of War, Because 19, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Long Run Bon Hugin Don II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Sour Goat Face, Faded Sufferance, B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow Kiku, the Supreme Chose Arizo, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell Me Why, E-Man Trucker, Eddie D19, Mark Sneed, Christopher Lee Williams, Agent Booty Pants, Shoeboxers, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Brian Richmond, Colin Blobinson, Sega, Smith, Bulas, Mopey36, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth with Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Binky the Clown, Gay for Mole Man, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Yes, 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 This Rocks, Flinny123, Lotus, A Fridge Too Far, Toby OP, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, Muffin Man Jr., Adam Blake still hasn't reviewed Crash Team Racing, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Generic Name 238, Saxophone, David Schroeder, Moncal, Diablo Spartan, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Retro Salvage Games, Conebread, Ocarina of Tim Rocks, Daniel Cook, You Heard About Pluto, Dazerith, Savage Boosh, Hello Mr. Thompson, MacGyver 88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Erotic Onion Ring, Captain Asbury Juice, Shut Up, Topher Love, Thunder Leaps, Legendberry, Jinxie 425, Akiris Network, Horror Wars Podcast, Jeff Leopard, Rob Lindsay, Game Boy Gannon, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Bot Fucker, Chase, Mikey Hag, Devin Collins, Cannon Fodder Games, Just James, Spooky Dookie, Frank Preeves, the okayest of Muffins, Landed Turquoise, Siegfried, Dildawana Hookshot, Handsome Major Angus McZongo Esquire, Catatonic Abyss, Dixon Miaz, Sailor Man 82, Jonathan Breyer, Redline Arrow, Jones, George Swan, The $100 Kid, Ted Michaels, Chris Nethercutt, Master Queef, Carl Not Garl, Amanda Hugging Kiss, Queer Al Yank Your Dick, Self High Five, Adam Can Now See His Wiener, Proud Slurm Addicts, Cody Donaldson, Better Mousetrap, Guitars, AJL 2019 FTW, The Maritime Magician, I was doing good too, fuck. Jason Hoysh, Michael Barjudina, I Am Mr. Carlos, Rusher 84, Duckman 39, 8686, Will, Daniel Montgomery, I Swear My Name Is Ray, Sir Blackburn, and Stereo Pixel. I give that a 7.5. I was doing good, and then I fucking dropped the ball at the end there. Anyway, appreciate all of you. Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye. Cheers. So long. See ya. Go away.